Hey, welcome to a new video. Today we are just outside the massive Tokyo Big Sight Exhibition Center. For the next couple of weeks, it is the home of the Japan Mobility Show. That's the show that used to be known as the Tokyo Motor Show. It has since evolved, kind of incorporating a bunch of different approaches to mobility and new ways of kind of discovering energy for propulsion in the future. So it's not as much as it was car focused before, but there's definitely some cool stuff happening. There's a lot of manufacturers that have actually joined the show this year. Of course, all the local domestic ones, some foreign ones. And I'm just gonna go inside, check out what the important launches are for us to see and kind of nerd out. So I'm gonna concentrate more on the sporty stuff at the beginning of the video. With that said, let's head inside and check things out. I always thought this building kind of looked like something out of Star Wars. And it's been here forever, ever since I've moved to Japan. So probably like in late 80s, early 90s construction. And it has served as the exhibition center of the city for many years. Actually, the Makuhari Messe over in Chiba, where the Tokyo Auto Salon is, actually a little bit bigger. And that's where the motor show actually used to be. I'm just passing by some Japanese TV filming stuff here. Interesting costumes. It is a few days before Halloween. I don't know if that's coinciding with what these guys are doing. But yeah, I think for the first order of the day, I'm gonna go straight to Toyota and Lexus because there are some interesting things there that are kind of being hinted. Maybe we get to see the LFR, production or concept, I'm not sure. And then of course there's the complete relaunch of the Century brand. And what Toyota is doing there is basically positioning it on top of Lexus and kind of launching a series of different Centuries around the brand, where the Lexus will become a little bit more of a brand where they can expand in doing more models, maybe more sporty stuff as well. So we head there, check things out, and then over to Nissan to see the new Elgrand and see what else I can discover at this year's mobility show. So let's head inside. Gozaimasu. So today is actually the first day of, I guess, the opening press access and all that. So lots of international visitors, YouTube channels, journalists from around the world, checking out what Japan's been up to. All right, so got to Toyota. Let's enter the display here, which is actually pretty much the size of the entire hall. They went full out, bringing even cars from their museum, including trucks. 1936 truck. Crazy stuff. I guess they really want to highlight the whole history of the company, which of course started as a textile company back 100 plus years ago, and the things that they're doing today around, of course, automotive, but mobility as well. They always have really cool kind of solutions to figuring out ways to transport people with different needs. We got another 1930s Toyota here, the Model AA. And you can see, just like when we visited the Nissan Museum, how the inspiration was very much taken from the American and British cars. But with that said, let's keep going. There's a lot to see. It's a massive booth. That's pretty cool. I guess mobility doesn't even necessarily mean you need wheels. Spider chair. So as we pass by all these solutions, I see crowds of people, and yeah, there's something at least remotely sporty looking. And this is something really cool. So we just heard that Nissan unveiled the new Elgrand. There's a new van here at Toyota that's also equally as cool. This is the Hi-Ace concept, so basically a refresh of what the Hi-Ace stands for when it comes to Japan transportation, mobility, and what people do with these vans. And cool to see that they're reimagining kind of famous names like a Hi-Ace for use in the future. Looks like this might actually fit inside it. Okay, I just found another one. So basically, it's a customizable platform that can be turned into anything utility, or I guess even ambulances and support vehicles. But look, it has the Hi-Ace design here, the kind of boxy look. And now we get into the really interesting stuff. This is the Sentry display, and like I was mentioning, Toyota has decided to kind of reinvent the way that Sentry fits in the whole lineup of the brand. Before, it was pretty much only this car here, the sedan kind of limo approach to creating something very conservative looking but equally elegant and luxurious for presidents to be chauffeured in, shachos as they say, like CEOs of companies. And then this is the new Sentry here, which is basically being used to kind of rethink the whole brand and allow for different cars to be created. This of course is, I guess, a 4-door coupe. Hopefully they turn it around so we can have another look from the other side with the doors closed. And looking at the Sentry sedan here that's on display when you come in, I actually noticed this could possibly even be Akio Toyota's own one, the GR version with the carbon detailing. There's a little trunk spoiler there, and you can see all the carbon fiber on the lower section of the car, kind of like the dashboard of a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, all along the side of the car, and finished off in a pearl white. Oh, there it is. There's the badge, black and white, keeping the conservative look and feel. It is a little bit difficult to see what the actual car looks like with those massive slide doors opened up, but it is a very unique design. It's very much a coupe, but at the same time it sits really high, so I guess it's got like crossover kind of vibe about it as well. And I think, oh, the doors are closing. I get to see a proper look at it. Yeah, I'm liking this. I get what Toyota is doing with this whole Sentry rebranding, redesign, what you want to call it. You get a nice look at the rear. It actually tapers in at the rear. Still very cool. All right, since we're here, let's take a look at the Sentry SUV, which has been a great success in Japan since launching, and it looks like they're really toying with, you know, possibilities of customizing interiors and kind of going the Rolls-Royce route, where, you know, owners and customers are able to really give a unique personal touch to these luxurious vehicles. And I'm not sure if it comes across, but this thing is absolutely gigantic. Pretty much the same size as a Cullinan. Let's head over to the other side. See if we can get another glimpse into the interior. This one's actually finished off in a matte black, something I've never seen before, so definitely considering doing this for its customer base, given the ability for customization. But look at that opulence in there. And take a look from the back. They've even gone and color matched the sides of the letters here. It's spelled Sentry on the trunk. Pretty unique and very cool. And here it is, possibly the most important car of the show, at least for me, the Lexus LFR. Presented here in pretty close to production trim. I love the way this car just sits. It's just beautifully proportioned, beautiful profile, extremely aggressive rear end. You can see the spoiler just popped out. And I think this is pretty much what the final car will end up looking like. Of course, they have to tone down all the concept car details, especially the interior. As you can see, it's very much a show car type approach in there. But it really does give us an idea of what the final production car is going to look like. And of course, there will be a GR version to this. And rumors are saying that it will not have the hybrid system that this street car will run. And of course, the impact is really hard-hitting from the front. This thing looks insanely aggressive. And check out the treatment on the headlights, that integrated DRL, and even the illuminated Lexus badge. Man, when this thing goes into production, it's gonna be a massive hit. And there's already rumors around the price of the car. They're saying about 40 million to 50 million yen in Japan. So about 280 to 300 plus. US. But I think it's going to be one hell of a performance machine. And like I mentioned, there is a pretty solid rumor that a GR version is going to be accompanying this street car to market. It's going to be the more sporty circuit, kind of like RS approach to making the most out of this car without the hybrid. Will it be manual? Probably not. But I'm sure it will be something very interesting. I'm sure Toyota is definitely not taking any chances with this potential success this car has. Okay, kind of nerding out on the details here. I'm sure the car will end up with carbon ceramic brakes. I guess the yellow of the calipers sort of giving that away. Maybe the underside of the skirts will actually make it into production as they are with a carbon detail right across to the rear bumper. And I think that kind of floating center section there should definitely make it into production, because it really does give a unique finish to the interior. All right, staying in the Lexus stand here, the car next to the sports car concept, which is what they're calling it, is the Lexus LS concept, which has become a van, mainly because I think the Lexus LM van here in Japan and the rest of Asia is doing so well. It makes sense for the, I guess, limousine sedan of the brand to become something like this, kind of merging the LS with the LM. And then when it comes to differentiating it a little bit from the vans, they have this car over here, which is the LS Coupe, which again is kind of like another crossover hybrid looking thing. But exciting stuff from Lexus, mainly because they're able to now kind of split the luxury with the Sentry lineup and brands. I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think. Take a look from the back. And I believe it's also because generally sedans are not doing too well these days, pretty much across most markets. So I guess to Lexus it makes more sense to go either with a crossover and call it a coupe, and then of course creating the LS van here, which if you actually look at the back here, it's got two little wheels at the back rather than a single normal one. It's an interesting solution. I doubt this will make it to market, but I think that's obviously there to kind of save up on interior space, because of course by lowering the wheel arch, the intrusion for the passenger side is not going to be as big, and therefore more space can be freed up. So there you go. Lexus rethinking pretty much everything, and exciting times, because you know they're not getting stuck in their old way of kind of doing things. So interesting stuff to come from Lexus and Sentry, and now we head over back to Toyota. So the car we have here, everybody's kind of trying to get a glimpse on, is the Corolla Coupe. I guess Toyota reimagining what the Corolla will actually end up becoming and looking like. I don't know. Sort of looks like a Prius reimagined to me. Let's take a look from the back. Corolla concept. And a look inside. I don't know, I think Toyota is really trying to reinvent itself when it comes to coming up with new concepts, new ideas for legendary brands. And unfortunately, no, there's nothing about the Celica here at the Japan Mobility Show 2025. No idea what's happening to that, but there you have it. Corolla maybe evolving into something slightly more luxurious, obviously PHEV, and the Lexus and the Sentry brands going slightly crazy in a very good way. I was almost leaving the booth when I realized that they actually brought the reimagined FJ Land Cruiser here. Kind of reinterpretation of the FJ that's been in production for what, 20 years now. They've gone slightly overly cute with it, I think. It looks like it's being compressed profile-wise. Definitely way more boxy. And suicide doors are gone. Spacious trunk. And very utilitarian type of cabin. And they're no longer using the FJ naming. It's just going to be called a Land Cruiser. It's an interesting choice, but let's try and get a look at the profile here. You see what I mean? It kind of looks like a little toy. So that joins the LC series of Land Cruisers in all sizes. Really making the most of what the Land Cruiser name is all about. Right, so I've changed halls. I'm now where BMW Mini are, and of course, you know, these guys are pushing all their new products like the new 5 Series. But it's actually this car that I wanted to get a closer look at. Of course, everybody's seen this in Europe and the US, but this is the first time it actually comes to Japan, the BMW Concept Speed Top. I think a great idea from BMW to be making shooting brakes again, especially when they're as sleek as this thing. I'm on my way to see the Nissan booth, so let's head there. I'll skip over Mitsubishi because I didn't see anything new there. But this is Nissan here, and they probably have the coolest booth at this year's mobility show, mainly because it's all white. It's so bright, you can actually see the cars. You know, the moody black carpets and moody lighting might look cool for a show car presentation, but when you actually want to see the details on the cars, look at this, white on white. You see the Micra, which they brought in from Europe, that's actually not on sale in Japan. And this is quite interesting. This is the Nissan N7. This is actually the car that they created for China, fully electric sedan. And I really don't understand why they don't sell this here, because this looks absolutely sick. It's kind of like a better take on a Tesla. Check out the interior. Floating screens, spacious legroom here for the rear seat passengers, and a decent design as well. I hope to see this in Japan at some point. And this is also something quite interesting in the main show car for 2025, the all-new Nissan Elgrand van, which is an important market sector here in Japan. Of course, we all know how popular the Velfires and the Alfards are, but after 15 years on the market with the current generation Elgrand, it was very much time for a refresh, and they've gone full out with this thing. And of course, with any van here in Japan and Asia, having a very aggressive, massive grille section is very important. I think Nissan have really done it in a more elegant way. I love how it all just breaks across into little bricks, you know, breaking away from the colored bodywork onto the grille section and right up into the headlights. Gives it a very elegant, luxurious feel. Let's take a look at the back. All right, so the Nissan guys are actually gonna let me on stage for about 15 to 30 seconds because you have to sign up to get access to these cars when they're on the stage. So we'll be able to take a look at the interior of the new Elgrand in a bit. But before that, I wanted to show you guys this. This is something very important for Japan. So Ivan Espinosa, the new CEO of Nissan, actually presented the Japan version of the Nissan Patrol. Finally, this SUV is back in the Japanese market. I think this is one of the most important announcements for nerds like me. I've always loved the Patrol. These things have done incredibly well in the Middle East and Australia. And now finally, they're back in Japan with this new generation truck, which is absolutely gigantic. It's running a VR30 DDTT, so 3-liter twin turbo, 460 horsepower, luxurious SUV, and potentially the tow vehicle to my GTR in the future. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think the Velfire may have to go and be replaced by this 7-seater awesomeness. Look at the trunk space. All right, let's take a look inside. Oh, that is nice. Very nice. Fit and finish. So, I mean, yeah, for like family cars in Japan, it's either something like this or vans. I mean, there's nothing else that kind of fits the bill, especially if you have 3 kids. So, maybe one for the future. We'll color match it to the Bayside blue of the 34 and maybe modify the turbo engine. Right, let's go and check out the Elgrand. Okay, so we got 30 seconds to quickly look at the Elgrand, and we're gonna do a little walk around just to get an idea of the profile of this thing. We've already seen it on the other side, but of course it is the grille area that really stands out on this thing. Let's see if we can open it. すいません、開けていいですか？多分後ろお願いします。ありがとうございます。So this is where these cars really make a difference. Lots of legroom on these seats. Of course, there are 3 more in the back, so 7-seater, luxurious layout, and a sick new dash design. It sort of makes the Velfire and Alphard look a little bit dated already. Awesome creation from Nissan. And of course, the big announcement today is also the return of the Patrol here in Japan. They've shut the doors on this so we can get a nice look at the profile. Of course, you guys that are watching from the US, you get this in the States, and it's called an Armada, but like I mentioned, it's a big deal to have this back in Japan. And look at the interior. So sick. So of course, with the inability to no longer purchase an LC300 Land Cruiser, this becomes an amazing option, and it's probably even a better car with a more powerful engine and that possibility to modify it. And again, trailer and R34 GTR. Right, so I made it to the Honda booth, and I'm just concentrating on funky stuff because, you know, the Tokyo Motor Show, or I guess Mobility Show from, you know, the last couple of iterations of the event, has always been about design and exploring funky new quirky takes on potentially futuristic cars. This is the Micro EV from Honda, kind of like possibly a 3-seater bench seat electric car that would probably be perfect for like a rental vehicle for the city. And again, other mobility stuff. Still here at Honda, this is another cool little EV city car. This is the Super One prototype. This is going to be pretty much a close to production interpretation of a fun EV city car, 4-door, lots of space, fun to drive. I guess we really need to kind of evolve into the EV world. We might as well have cars this fun to drive. And with that said, there's one car here which I still haven't really taken a closer look at. Of course, I'm talking about the brand new Prelude. This thing has been out in Japan for a few months. Haven't really seen more than a couple on the road. Of course, this is a hybrid setup. It has, I guess, generator that charges the battery and gives the feel of driving an ICE engine, but you're actually just getting a simulated shift through the EV motors. I'm not sure what to make of this. And I'm not really sure if this has been received well yet by, you know, enthusiasts. It does have the looks. Maybe we'll see some cool ones at Tokyo Auto Salon in January. But at least, you know, you got to give it to them for trying. And then back here on the main stand, there are 3 really cool concepts, starting with the Honda Zero Saloon, the Honda Zero, I guess, crossover, and then a much bigger SUV, kind of showing what Honda is thinking about its EV future. Kawasaki booth, they have a little funky side by side on display. It's cool that they're making stuff like this. Look at the massive shock dampers with the piggyback tank. 4 seats for a lot of fun. And still here at Kawasaki, right behind are 2 Bimota bikes. Of course, Kawasaki now owns Bimota. Good to see an iconic Italian brand making an appearance at this year's mobility show. Just had to stop and take a little look at the 4-door Jimny. This is something that makes me so happy because, of course, these cars have been so popular and successful in Japan. And I later found out they were actually being sold as 4 doors in other markets. And then finally they made it to Japan. They're sold in 4 different packages. And I'm sure they're going to be just as popular as the regular 2-door. Right, so finally made it to Mazda, which was another manufacturer that was bringing a lot of cool stuff from all the rumors around the show. This is the Vision X Compact, a little cool compact 4-door hatchback, kind of inspired after all the little cars like the Demio that came before it. Let's take a look at the back. Really sweet treatment at the back. This is going to be very successful if they end up making it. Sleek design, cool interior. One more win from Mazda. And then, of course, we have the Mazda Vision X Coupe, a sleek 4-door sedan that is pretty much representative of the direction Mazda will take with its future designs. Unfortunately, there is still no RX-7 or mention of a future car. This is all we get, this and the little X Compact concept. Still, good effort from Mazda, creating really sleek, sporty designs. Right, came around to the front so you guys could get a nice view of the front end. I'm kind of surprised they went that narrow on the whole headlight treatment, but definitely a unique design. Right, moved over to Subaru to check out the Performance E STI concept. They're nicely turning it around for me, so I don't need to move, but basically, again, something that kind of hints at what Subaru is thinking about the future and the whole integration of EV platforms. Of course, this is going to be 4-wheel drive, performance-oriented model. I'm not sure if they're going to call it an Impreza or a Levorg or something, but quite an interesting thing to see, and very importantly, a good thing to be seeing. You know, when everybody's kind of moving away from sports cars lately now. Even Subaru is kind of returning to their roots. From the Performance E, we move to the Performance B STI concept. Think of this as the future STI model version of the Impreza. We might see a production version of this car at Tokyo Auto Salon. Cool looking design, very much showing off its rally roots. And cool to be seeing Subaru and STI churning out sports cars again. We'll have a peek into the cabin. You can see the bucket seats, carbon structure. A nice look at the back of the car. Is this going to be an Impreza or something completely different? So we have the electric version back here and an ICE-powered STI model right here. Right, I'm here at the BYD booth and they brought the Yangwang U9 hypercar. This is an EV-powered hypercar that has just recorded the fastest top speed of any car, 496 kilometers an hour. Pretty crazy to be seeing this here in Tokyo. Let's take a look at the back. There's a pretty extreme looking aero treatment back here. And if we can get through the massive crowd here, you can get a nice look at that rear end. I wonder if this is going to be on sale in Japan. All right, I'm going to end the coverage of the Japan Mobility Show here. Hope you enjoyed seeing all the cool cars and concept at the different manufacturer booths. And I have to say, for 2025, the domestic manufacturers really pushed hard. There was a lot of interesting news, new cars being unveiled, and of course, a nice future kind of look at what's coming from domestic manufacturers in Japan and around the world. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check back soon for more and hit that subscribe button, because it really does help us get you more coverage from Japan and around the world. Until the next video, check back soon for more.